Hi guys, it's me, Mr. Bertoch, your incredibly handsome science teacher. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 8 science and engineering practices. One thing that I hear an awful lot as a teacher, a science teacher, is something like this. And maybe you even said this yourself. Mr. Bertoch, dear handsome science teacher, you've definitely said that part, because that part is true. Mr. Bertoch, dear handsome science teacher, when am I ever going to need to know this, insert random thing, or when am I ever going to use this in my entire life? And honestly, the answer is probably never. Probably you will never need to know what the mighty mitochondria does inside of a cell, how it is the powerhouse of the cell. You're probably never going to be in a situation in your adult life where that really is relevant unless you are a nurse or doctor or scientist or something. But let me explain why science is important. It isn't necessarily the facts that we are learning that matter, although those facts taken together are important. There's a lot of knowledge in science, in the sciences, that is interesting and helpful to know, but more importantly are the 8 science and engineering practices. And they are why science is such an important subject. In fact, one of the most important subjects. Now, it would be hard to argue that any subject is more important than reading and writing, because that's a basic skill and it's a gateway to all of the other things that you might need to learn, because you need to be able to read and write to be able to learn, at least to read for sure. Math is also pretty darn high on the list, and it would be hard to argue that very many things are more important than math. But science is right up there with them. The reason isn't because you necessarily need to know what does the mitochondria do inside a cell, but rather it's because of these 8 science and engineering practices. So what are they? What are the 8 science and engineering practices? A group of scientists and educators and stakeholders like parents and business peoples, business humans, got together and looked at what we were teaching children in science class and came up with a list of 8 things that we felt like were most important for children to learn while they are in a science class. And these are not content, but rather they are skills. And they are the reason you're in science class. Science teaches you how to think intelligently. It is a thinking class. We use the content, like facts about Newton's laws of motion and types of energy and parts of cells and whatever it is that you're learning. We use those facts as a tool to practice the 8 science and engineering, practices. They're called practices because we have to practice them. They're like any skill. You learn to play the piano. What do you have to do? You don't just sit down one day and voila, you're an amazing piano player. You have to take months and even years really to practice and practice and practice until you get good at playing the piano. Well, the same goes with thinking intelligently. Thinking intelligently takes a lot of practice, years of practice. So these 8 science and engineering practices include things like asking good questions, because intelligent people, thoughtful people, ask questions. They don't just accept whatever's given to them. They're like, but why? But why? Tell me why. Why, Mr. Bertoch? Demand to know, ask questions. That's an important skill that intelligent people possess and are good at. Another one is to analyze and interpret data. Intelligent people know how to look at data for themselves and not take the word of somebody else, not trust somebody who's telling them, well, here's what the data means, but instead saying to them, well, show me the data. No. Don't tell me what it means. Just show me the data. I'll look at it myself and I'll make my own conclusions because I am super duper smart. My head is full of smartliness. Intelligent people can look at patterns and see the meaning in patterns. They can use math to draw conclusions. They can come up with solutions to problems. They are creative. So these 8 science and engineering practices are things that we will work on in these videos and in my course. If you take my actual course, and if you want to take it, go to handsomescienceteacher.com. These are things we will work on again and again and again, like playing the piano, practicing over and over. Yes, we will learn a lot of facts, like what does the mighty mitochondria do? It's the powerhouse of the cell, by the way. We will learn that, but I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. If I run into you someday at the store, I'm not going to be like, you tell me, what does a mighty mitochondria do? Tell me right now. Instead, I'm going to be like, so are you intelligent? Can you think? How does your brain work? How is your brain working? That is why science class matters. Not the facts, although I hope you remember them because they're interesting and they give you a broader perspective. They do make you a more intelligent human. But more importantly are the practices that you get good at. So when you say to yourself, why do I need science? This is the answer. You need science because you need the skills of thinking as an intelligent human. You need to practice these science practices. And just like in music, you're going to take a song, a sheet of sheet music, and practice and learn that song. It's not like that song really matters. You could learn any song to learn the piano. Okay, whatever particular song you wouldn't say to your music teacher, why do I have to learn this song? Why does this song matter? When am I ever going to use this song in my life? Because the answer is you're not, but you're going to use the skills that you gain by practicing the song. And the same goes for science. You may not use any particular thing that I teach you, but you will use the science and engineering practices that you practice by practicing. I wonder how many times I can say practice. 8 science and engineering practices. That's why this class matters. That's why science as a class matters. Well, hello. Thank you for watching my one-take rambling science video where I talk a lot and try to do as few and usually no edits whatsoever. So you hear all my ums and my awkward pauses as I try to collect my thoughts into my head. If you like learning about science, do me a favor. I have classes that I teach over on outschool.com, and you can find out about these classes by going to my website, which is Handsome Science Teacher, because look at this face, handsomescienceteacher.com, where you can sign up and get access to not only these videos, because you already have access to those, right? They're free, but also access to packets that go along with them and live conferences with me, where I teach you and grade your work and we learn together. I have an entire science curriculum from 5th through 8th grade science. Also, you are welcome to, if you would like to subscribe to my channel. That helps me too, just because it gets the word out about me.